Have Pastor Warren come up and say the prayer.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a privilege to be here and to ask for God's blessing. Before I pray, I want to ask you to do something. Much of prayer is asking for things. And so if you're comfortable, I would just ask you to put your hands with your palms up as if you are ready to receive. Heavenly Father, it is a wonderful thing to be able to come and serve you in a public way. Thank you for these leaders who have all been gifted and called to contribute their minds and hearts, their expertise and wisdom. We lift our hands to you today, and they are open and empty because when it comes to you, we admit we don't have much to offer. But we do bring our open hands, ready to serve, ready to talk and listen, ready to deliberate. And we are asking you for certain things today. Would you give us clarity? Would you give us good listening skills? Would you grant us fresh ideas to solve some old problems? Would you give us goodwill for one another? Would you give us a double portion of wisdom? May these decisions lead to patterns of goodness for our entire community. Lord, we lift up those who serve, these leaders, others in our school systems, praying for teachers and administrators, and for first responders and law enforcement, and for healthcare workers. They need your grace and strength today. We pray for all who serve in our military and for veterans all over our community. Would you work within us and fill our hands with the good things that we've asked for? And as a result, we will distribute that goodness to a community that needs great leadership. Thank you for these men and women. May your anointing be on them today. In the name of the one whose birth we celebrate this month, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I should not say amen.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Here.
Commissioner Ludlow.
Here.
Commissioner Bray,
Here.
Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
Commissioner Fournier.
Here.
Commissioner Francisco,
Here.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Here.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Here. So everyone has the agenda. I don't know, we did need to talk about that one item. So do we want to add, where do we want to add that item?
We have, well, actually, I have a couple, we have to talk about an appeal to a FOIA that came through.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, because of the timeline constraints, we had to fit it into this meeting, so I apologize. You didn't have a heads up. We did hand out a sheet that had the FOIA request on it. Human Resources Director Jennifer Mathis will be joining us via Zoom to just go over briefly what all is happening with that. If you could put it under myself, under item 13, part 2.
13, part 2, I don't have my numbers, is that the marijuana thing?
It's right after this.
Okay.
Okay, and I saw got a thing to add too.
Well, you can, oh, well,
I'll have to wait till we get there.
okay, so. What else do we need to do?
I had one to add. We should put that under what, new business or?
Yeah, we can, I guess, because you don't. Well, yeah, why don't we just put it under
New business? No. Put it under Brenda.
Where are you?
I, well, I am.
Let's just put it under, that way they're
Okay,
separated, so
okay.
we'll just have you under. And that's related to,
Our administrator.
okay. Okay. So we got those two items. Are there any other issues or concerns with the agenda that
I don't know. Do you have this one added to the commission?
I think
But that's just for,
just
to take with you, that
informational?
Oh, okay, so we're not doing nothing with that today?
no action.
Okay,
Okay, so we got the two items that we're going to add. Is everybody good with that? If so, I'd look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fournier, supported by Commissioner LaHaye. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Same sign. Okay, public comment. Have you step up to the podium and just state your name, 3 minutes.
We didn't do. roll.
Anybody? Nobody? Anybody online? Nobody? Okay, we'll close public comments. The consent calendar, pretty slim pickings on there. We only have the finance board minutes. So I'd look for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Francisco. Support by Commissioner LaHaye. Roll call, please, or any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray. Yes. Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes,
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes. Bills to pay, everyone had a chance to review the bills. Are there any questions on the bills? The item, okay. I'd look for a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fournier,
I'll support.
support by Commissioner Bray. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray. Yes. Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes,
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
And carried.
Okay. Next up, we have Nikki, Home Improvement Director.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good
good
afternoon.
afternoon.
I have three matters before you on the agenda. The first of the three, we'll take them right in order. It's a request to approve an updated version of our procedural guidelines within the home improvement program. I think I did a pretty detailed memo on the proposed guidelines, and I guess I would just ask if, happy to answer any questions if you have any.
I'd look for a motion to approve that and then.
I'll make that motion.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Peterson. Support. Support by Commissioner Ludlow. Any discussion, any tough questions for Nikki? I like how you put it in red.
Good.
It's so much easier. I opened up.
That was actually my first time ever doing this. I'm very proud of myself. So I
I opened up
appreciate
the
that.
first one and I'm like, how am I gonna know what changed? Because I'm like, I'm not gonna know, but it makes it so much easier. I know in the past, I've always said that, we need that stuff highlighted or so it pops out that we know what changed.
Absolutely.
The only question that I would have or ask you is, so when I went through it, I was wondering, how did you decide what to add and what to take out? Because I know there was a couple sections that were removed and I'm like, did you have a template or did you have another document that you based it on? Because that's a lot of stuff to go through and then say, let me add this word here or remove that.
Absolutely. I can answer that. I was involved in creating the 2022 guidelines. And at that time I was brand new in this position. And so it was really diving into them and having to form my own understanding of what within these guidelines are dictated down to us from either MEDC at the time and today MISTA, and what within these guidelines have we as the government created to combine with what's given to us. And so my newness at the time was part of the reason for the need of some updates. Is just now that I've been operating under these guidelines for the past couple of years, I have a better understanding And so it was really just, I knew I needed to go through it and look for any place that MEDC was referred to because of the fact that Michigan now administers the CDBG funding. So I just did a total dive and, really topic by topic and just said, okay, this isn't real life. Wasn't right. And I clearly didn't understand it 2 years ago to even point it out that didn't make sense or that wouldn't apply in this scenario. So I really used the experience that I've gained over the past couple of years to be able to dial it in and make it more, what you see right now.
So in 2 more years, it'll even be more refined?
What's that?
In 2 more years, it'll be even more refined?
I hope it's pretty refined right now. Upon approval, I actually have to send these down to Mishta. Mishta's waiting for these from me. And they will tell me if there's any problems within those guidelines, because they have to meet their approval.
So they don't have like a template that you can, like other
They
counties?
do not. They have a policy. There's a chapter 17 within the CDBG policy manual that covers program income and emergency repair, which is what our program is. And it says in the first couple of paragraphs that the local unit of government shall create local program guidelines. So it's been years and years and years of having guidelines that we've been in place since the late 70s. And those guidelines have existed in some format, for 50 years or almost 50 years. And so there's been kind of that template in place and it's been approved over the years, improved over the years. So there's always been that starting point and just growing from there. I didn't start from scratch to create them.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, if no one has any other questions, we've got a motion and a support. So I guess all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passed. The next item is a recommendation for a project EM 2301.
Yes, and these two projects, I will do them one at a time and the O1 is first. Normally I would take this to the facilities committee, but because of the lack of agenda items, you guys all have the pleasure of seeing me today. But under those guidelines that we just approved and what we've been operating under, any projects that are estimated to cost in excess of $15,000, even if they meet all of our eligibility requirements, I'm required to come to you and get approval to move forward. So this is not a circumstance where there's any exceptions to their eligibility. I'm not asking for any permissions or I'm not asking to sway from our guidelines. They meet our guidelines to a T. I'm just here to tell you that I have verified all of those details and that I'm here asking for your approval to move forward because it's an over $15,000 project. We would do this project in the form of a lien, which is what our guidelines say. All projects over $15,000, we loan to the homeowners. It's a deferred loan at 0% interest, can't beat it. And it just sits on their home for the lifetime that they own and occupy the home. And then we receive those proceeds back when the home is sold, when the owner passes away. However, that ownership changes, then our loan becomes due and payable, and that becomes future spending for our program.
Okay. This one's for the roof soffit and fascia repair for 20,000. I'd look for a motion. We did?
Yep.
Okay, so a motion by Commissioner Peterson,
Support.
support by Commissioner Fournier. Any further discussion on it? If not, roll call, please.
Commissioner Bray? Yes. Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco?
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky?
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow?
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
Yes. Okay, next one is EM 11 for 26,000.
Same exact scenario. It's over $15,000, estimated to be about $26,000. That's just based on our inspector coming up with an estimate. This has not went into the hands of a contractor to give us solid estimates yet. So I still need to move forward and do that. But because of the urgency of this one, these folks don't have running water. They have running water. It is not safe to consume. I wanted to come to you before I start talking to contractors to bring that dollar amount to a more exact amount, but we're pretty confident it's going to exceed $15,000 regardless. And therefore I would need your approval to move forward with it.
Okay, so I look for motion to approve the home improvement project EM 2311 with an estimated cost of $26,000 as presented. Homeowner meets all eligible requirements to receive assistance.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Konashevsky,
I'll support his motion.
support by Commissioner Francisco. That's to repair an old crock that was not sealed properly. Okay, any other discussion, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yeah.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray. Yes. Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I
Thank
do
you.
have a question for Nikki before she leaves.
Yep.
And in your checklist for eligibility, Nikki, it's requested about, are you a veteran? And the only reason I ask for these amounts, it might be a little bit difficult and your program is certainly applicable, but any amounts may be smaller than that. Do you look to see if they're veterans and if you refer them to like the Veterans Affairs Agency at all? Because there are some small funding opportunities as another source of for consideration.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. It's not automatically a question I ask. Once we get to verifying information, I definitely, that's information I need to know. Ironically, more often than not, I get the referral from the veterans organizations locally. And we've got a good collaboration and I've sent some folks that direction when things like, you know, utility bills and minor repairs are in need. I've become knowledgeable about the funding that is available. So we do communicate back and forth. And as a matter of fact, we replaced a roof earlier this year for an individual who is a veteran and who came to me from our local veterans
Okay,
organization.
I'm glad that interagency coordination is going on. So that was my question. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. Anything else?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is, please go from the phone manager. No, No, he isn't up next or?
Not on. He's up next.
Okay,
But he's not.
all right,
Agenda
we'll
item.
skip over that item. Hopefully, come on, so we can go to that one. So we'll move right along to County Administrator Jesse Osmer.
So attached is the FY 25 marijuana grant renewal application, just passed the grant review committee. This money in the amount of $15,539 requires no county match. It's used for educational purposes, community outreach, that type of stuff. We partner with DHD4 and their health education and harm reduction program in executing use of these funds. I'm just looking for authorization to sign and to that money.
Okay, and we normally do this every year and the health department manages it, so the nice thing about this one is there's no county match, so that's an easy one. So I'd look for motion. Approve the FY 25 marijuana operation and oversight grant renewal application for DHD4. $15,539 with no county match and authorize the county administrator to sign all pertaining documentation.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fournier.
I'll support.
Support by, sorry, which one? Commissioner Konashevsky. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky.
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye.
Yeah.
Commissioner Ludlow.
Yes.
Commissioner Bray.
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then the next item,
I think I have Jennifer Mathis on as well, just
is she on?
any additional questions. But basically what happens, we had a FOIA request come in. This individual, and again, the packet you should have it stapled up in front of you. Requested some information on an individual that she had previously worked with in other capacities. We did give her some of the information, including some emails, some internal communication, which was FOIAble. However, she also wanted some of the hiring paperwork recommendations, some of the stuff in the personnel file, which we felt exceeded basically what we'd have to provide, especially with her being employed under the sheriff's department, they're able to deny that. So we denied it. She's now appealing and asking for the board to overturn our decision and to provide that paperwork to her. Jennifer's on and would like to supplement anything I said.
How come I don't see her?
She,
I like to see her smiling
Here.
face.
she is.
All right. Do you have, let's see a smiling face. There we go.
Yes, Jesse, covered most of it. Law enforcement agencies are exempt from having to provide, personnel information. So we were just looking for a recommendation on how you guys would like to proceed with the appeal.
So, do you have any input on this, Sheriff?
No, FOIAs are so hard. You look at the statute, so often, its interpretation. Like, I try to be open and honest with people, but you open a file for somebody. Or for the other person. I'm not an attorney, there's that, that's why I denied it the whole time. I guess you guys know.
So Jennifer, you've given her a lot of stuff, but there was some stuff in her the individual personnel folder that you didn't feel was appropriate or necessary to then release to her?
I actually did not respond to the FOIA, so I'm not sure what was given to
Oh.
her previously.
Who did, who?
I responded to Rachel.
Oh, okay. So apparently she didn't get enough from what you gave her. So now she's come back and she's asking for more specific details on the individual's personnel folder?
Yes.
Okay.
In the original FOIA, it was very broad. It was like basically this person, and anything that has to do with employment, like FOIA, you're supposed to be asking
Yeah,
for a specific.
specific, yeah.
And so it's like.
I kind of remember when Jennifer mentioned it to me, I thought the same thing, that it was too broad of an area just to say, give me everything you could ever possibly give me or give them on that one particular individual. So,
And in this case, like law enforcement agencies are, there's an exemption for personnel file, so it's very easy just to say, okay, we're a law enforcement agency, you're asking for a personnel file, it's exempted, sorry.
yeah. Okay. So I guess then we should make a motion to either approve or deny this based on what the sheriff is saying, it's personnel folder. So I think we'd be legally fine with not providing that specific information.
I'll make the motion to provide no more than we already have.
Okay, so we have a motion to deny the second FOIA request,
Now support.
support by, so we got a motion by Commissioner Konashevsky, support by Commissioner Fournier. Any other discussion with this?
My only comment would be, I don't know if I agree with the sheriff completely that a shelter technician would be, a law enforcement agent. But with that said, I don't know how the information we've given her, I don't know how the type of separation that she had received. I don't know how that is in the public's best interest. So with that, I would certainly support.
Well, and I do know when talking to Jennifer before, basically the individual that's requesting this FOIA asked for like any emails or anything. She was asking for like tons of stuff, correct? Like anything that was related to this individual that worked for the animal shelter. That's for you, Jennifer.
Yep, she did. She requested any faxes that were included her, any text messages, emails. It was very broad.
Okay, yeah, and so, with that, I don't know how that would fall within the parameters of the public's best interest to know how background of this individual's separation or termination or whatever resignation, however she left. I don't think that.
She quit.
Okay, she quit? Oh, okay. Got it. So I don't think that's in the public's best interest to have that provided. So I would certainly support this motion. So. thank you.
Okay, so any other questions, comments? Okay, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passed. So I guess you're done, Jesse, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next up is, so the meeting dates. So everyone got a copy of all the meeting dates. We did have an updated correction on the personnel that Kim Sent out, I think, yesterday. So if you got your stuff like I normally do on Board Book, the new updated one, but she sent it in your email. So everyone should have all the updated lists. Were there any questions or concerns or comments on the dates? I know with the Board of Commissioners, we've always tried to have at least like 3 or 4 night meetings just for those individuals that complained in the past that we only have our meetings during the day, so the people that work during the day can't come. So we do have those, I think it's 4 meetings at night next year, which we've done over the last several years. Any comments or questions or concerns? If not, I'd look for a recommendation to approve the 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting dates as presented.
I'll make the move.
Motion by Commissioner LaHaye,
I'll support.
support by Commissioner Ludlow. If no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay, this should go pretty quickly because we've pretty much canceled most of these. So facilities was supposed to be tomorrow, but we canceled that. That's why Nikki came to see us today. You don't have any other information on that you wanted to talk about, do you? Or I don't want to, if you have something to say, Travis, I don't want to cut you off.
No, I don't.
Airport meeting, oh, that
We
was
were-
canceled.
We were canceled. And then we got some there, but Steve on yet?
Yes.
Steve,
Yes, sir.
you got the, you were for, airport manager for the, MDOT aeronautical, grant.
Yes,
Then when you're done with that, could you just give a brief report? Because we canceled, the airport committee meeting the other day.
So we're gonna go back up to action item number 6, which actually, did you correct that on there? Because I noticed the numbering system got a little.
Yeah.
So this is, I guess, Bill's asking you to talk about the 2 10-unit T hangars.
Yeah, this is the grant that we've been offered by FAA through the bipartisan infrastructure law agreement to construct 20 T hangars, 2 buildings with 10 nested T hangars in each.
Or is it supposed to be 20?
Yeah, there's going to be 20 T hangars total.
I got 2.
210.
210 unit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the entire grant is for $9,200. It calls for a $2,555 local share, with MDOT Aeronautics taking up the slack with another $2,255. And that'll get us the T hangars that we've been wanting to build for quite some time. And that'll be another revenue stream for the airport, because we're looking at leasing each one of these T hangars out for $200 a month.
$200 a month?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd look for a recommendation to approve the MDOT aeronautical grant application in the amount of $90,200 with an organizational match of $22.55 and a county match of $22.55. Construction of 2 10-unit T hangars and authorize the chairman of the board to sign the pertaining documentation as presented.
I make that motion. I'll support it because I signed the grant.
Okay, so,
I'll support, or I'm sorry, he'll support, but I have a question.
okay, so.
I have a question.
Let's clarify. So you made the motion.
Yes.
I support it.
Commissioner Ludlow made the motion. Commissioner Peterson supported that. Okay, questions?
It looks like we received that in August. And in the document, it says that it expired in September. Are we still eligible for this?
Yes, that money has already been allocated for the use of the hangars. So yeah, we're good to go on it, because right now that money is in a use or lose situation with FAA. And they want to see us use it instead of lose it. So we're all set.
You have clarified that it is not expired, even though it says here?
That money has not expired.
Okay,
It's already been allocated actually for the preliminary work of doing the the siting and the surveying and the soil samples. So that money was already committed.
That was my only question.
Okay. My question was that on the contract, what's the difference between the entitlements and discretionary? I thought entitlements was Medicare, so, that kind of funding. What is the difference?
Well, for the airport improvement program, like when we make 10,000 enplanements a year and we're eligible for that $1 million, they refer to those as entitlements.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
I'm good, yeah.
everyone's good with their questions?
Could I ask? just
Yeah.
a quick que- I apologize. Hey, Steve, I apologize. I should ask this prior, but it just occurred to me. We had previously spoken about some of the money for, and maybe it's a different project, but for the T hangers, coming from money that was supposed to be received from the feds. But that money was supposed to be received if we met a certain employment. I know that we've reached a certain number, but there was also a waiver you were concerned about that the 118th Congress did not grant before adjourning. Is there any talk about them going back and fixing that retroactively next year, or is that money gone?
There's been no talk that I've been made aware of fixing that. The outgoing Congress just denied all the waivers that were there en bloc.
Okay.
So
Okay,
I think the money's just gone.
okay, thank you.
Okay, everyone's questions answered then? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Francisco,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray. Yes. Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier.
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now, Steve, could you get us the employments from November and all that good stuff?
I certainly can if you give me just a moment to pull
Okay.
that information up.
So it looks like MDOT manages the contract. Is that and everything? They do everything?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. That's how I read it, but I wasn't sure.
It's opening up right now. Sorry for the delay. Okay, for November, we had 827 employments for the month of November, as compared to 906 for November of 2023. But for year to date, in 2023, we had 7,247, whereas right now we're sitting at 10,257. So we've already.
Well, just, can I just want to interrupt you quickly. I know when you compare it, the huge difference between this year and last year was the runway was shut down for 2 months.
Yes,
So we made the entitlement 10,000 quota.
yes, we've already cleared that hurdle. So everything else from here is just extras.
Anything else? Report?
About the only thing to really report is our schedule got adjusted so that now we have the late flight leaves out of Alpena at 7 p.m. and it's performing really poorly, as we told SkyWest that it would. So right now, the station manager for Unify, he's going to put together some facts and figures for me. So the next time I talk to SkyWest, we can present those actual figures for how it's underperforming, and perhaps we can have the schedule adjusted, but odds are they're just going to continue to leave it the way it is, and then in January they'll adjust the schedule again.
It only works if you go into like the East Coast. If you go into the West Coast, you're in trouble.
Unless you like to sit on airplanes all night long. Yes, indeed. The
Yeah.
only advantage is the folks that are coming back from the West have got a significantly greater amount of time to make their connections to get back home. But yeah, the folks leaving out, it's been badly underperforming.
Okay.
So it's set to be the same schedule for the month of December? I mean, January?
No, I expect that they're going to change in January. Seems like every month this year so far, they've been doing an adjustment. even if it's just a few hours to our schedule, which I'm really not in favor of, but you know, what are you gonna do? We don't run the airline, we run the airport, so we take what they give us.
Okay.
All I got, Steve. Anybody else?
Anybody? Okay. Thank you, Steve.
All right, thank you all.
Next up is Courts and Public Safety. Oh, that was canceled. The only meeting that we actually have is personnel. Brenda,
Right. And the only thing we did was,
selections for the committees.
right,
Yep.
that
and
was
then
it.
Everyone got those last, actually, at the finance board. So. Any other items under personnel that you needed to talk about?
No,
Okay.
No.
Next up is the boards and commissions, and we'll start with Commissioner LaHaye.
I went to road commission meeting and everything is going good over there. They're doing what road commissioners usually do. They're buying a lot of gravel and fuel and stuff, and they're getting ready for the winter. Bought a bunch of grader blades and or blades for the trucks, and everything seems to be okay there. Their budget is good. They got a good fund balance, so they do a pretty good job over there.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Ludlow, District 2.
No hunt meeting this month. NEMCOG is not until the 19th. EMSCA give updates on some of their projects that they're working on, and their finances are all the percentages where they should be this time of year.
We're good. Okay, thank you. District 3, Commissioner Bray.
I had no meetings. Thunder Bay Transportation was postponed until next month. And
Seems like to be a theme this month, huh?
what's that?
Seems to be like the theme.
I think
cancel the meetings.
so, yeah. And then there's a planning commission this week, yeah.
Right. All right, thank you. Commissioner Peterson, District 4.
Judicial Circuit Court met back in October, so that's, gave that report last time. Target does not meet till January. And being as this is Commissioner Francisco's last report, I'm gonna let him report on MOA.
There you go.
don't set it like the road runners.
So we have saved, the MOA authority with the operation of the new injection well. We saved the authority somewhere in the tune of about little over $900,000 from having to haul the leachate to be able to use the injection well. So, I mean, it's going to be that funding for that project should be paid off in 5 years or less. So that is shown that the authority making that decision a couple of years ago and implementing it has done so efficiently and economically. Other than that, that was there of the 6 of us on the MOA Authority Board, 3 of us will be leaving. So the MOA Authority Board will have a 50% new membership on that board. So again, with Commissioner Peterson's being the chairman of the MOA landfill, it's in good hands. Subject to questions, that's all I've got to report.
Okay, thank you. District 5, Commissioner Fournier.
Nothing.
Nothing for DH4. You want to tell us that your last meeting?
Was today.
Your last meeting was today. Okay,
That is correct.
all right,
I just pulled in the back. It's over with.
okay. Okay, we'll move back to Commissioner Francisco for District 6.
Okay, none of my committees met since the last meeting. All reports were given at our November full board meeting.
Okay. District 7, Commissioner Konashevsky.
My meetings did not take place this month either. I do have a question on the recycling center. Is there any updates on that when?
I was at that meeting all day, all morning this morning, and wolfed down my taco in 10 minutes to get here. So it was a long meeting. So I'm actually up next. I'll talk about that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So for me, I didn't have DARE teams. Again, Northeast Michigan's consortium meeting was canceled and haven't been to one United Way even since I've been appointed to that board, so they don't want me to come, I think. Northeast Michigan Material Management, so we did have a meeting that lasted forever, and I noticed how Bill worked that into his plan, so he didn't have to attend that one today. But, so one of the things that, and I don't know if you were looking for specific information on that, but one of the things that I just, and again, I have it in my notes, but, so in order to move forward with the facility out there, they need to do some, get some bonds issued, through or for the recycling center. But in order to do that, because that authority hasn't been in existence for very long, they're coming to county or will come to the county to ask that the bonds, I don't know if it would be technically issued in our name, but we're the authority that's been in existence the longest, so they would, the bond companies made a recommendation that the county be the name on the, to issue the bonds or however they do it. So we will get at a future meeting, I think actually next month, Rachel and Cindy will come to the commissioners to present that to the board to make or for our approval to have our name on those bonds. The way it was described to me was that our name would be on the bonds, but then we wouldn't be stuck making the payments on it. And again, I'm not the technical guy for this, but they did have a guy from the agency or the organization that would be issuing I think it's Miller, I can't remember what it is, Miller something, can't remember the
Would
name.
be responsible for if they renege on the.
Us.
Yes.
Yeah.
County.
But the way he made it sound was that we could use, and they mentioned this, and that was one of the things that I do have concern of, that we could use the proceeds that the Northeast Michigan Material Management Authority takes in as revenue to cover those bonds, but no, they're not taking in.
Well, they're on a shoestring right now.
Yeah. So on last year's budget, or no, I'm sorry, on next year's budget, there is a difference of, I think it was $24,000 between their revenues and their expenses. So that's good, right? They're in the red, or no, black. So, like I say, more will become coming to us. We just, and did you get the sense that they were hinting that in the past that they wanted us the county to be the,
They thought that we would
yeah.
do that for them, but
So
our situation is not that.
yeah,
That's how much they looking to bond.
But
was it 2 million, 1.5 million? I can't remember.
somewhere around that, they started out at 750,000, now they're up.
1.5, because they want to cover themselves, make sure they're covered.
So then will that affect our bond rating?
It's a good question.
Now they pay it.
Huh?
Now they pay it.
Well, we should. No, I mean,
We should check
we
that out.
had to go
and
back.
see.
We were
Actually,
one of our
what's
bonds
the-
against us.
So
I know.
one of the things we'll organize a meeting, and Jesse will be part of that meeting. Prior to that, to get more information, we can get all that meeting before. So they kind of sprung it on, I wouldn't say sprung it, because I kind of saw the direction they were going, because obviously they don't have that kind of money, but then neither do we. So we'll get more information on it, and then we'll have a better understanding of it by the time they come to present it.
So there's no solid plan for that building yet or anything like that.
No, because they don't have the funding to build the building. So, but they need to have it, I think it's by September of next year, because they got that, I think it was like $2 million from the state to help build the building. So that money will probably go away if they don't get moving on this. And the way they talked is if they did issue the bonds, there's a 45-day referendum period that I think it was 45-day referendum period that they needed to go through to be able to, by the time they'd have cash in hand, we're talking April. of next year. So,
I know I did get a call from Mr. Jennings about it. He'd heard that they were getting canceled. He's, for his building.
well, no, we just went to a meeting, Jesse and I went to a meeting yesterday on that. And that was to put in the utilities. And again, I think the city's hoping that we would, I guess, put the bill for, or cover, be responsible for because we got more problems than we really realized. Because in order to sell those additional lots down by the recycling center, you're gonna need a different capacity potentially for water and sewer. I don't think the water will be a problem. I think, again, depending on.
Stress sewer.
Yeah, depending on what they built, obviously, if they built a hotel, which I said, I don't think there's any plans for a hotel down there, but
That's past we're past cycling and the.
well, we're talking both places. So where Mr. Jennings' lot is, and then lots, what is it, 4 through 1?
Yeah.
And they suggested yesterday, made a recommendation potentially to just do an individual tap into the water so he could have his stuff. And then whoever gets lots 1 through 4 would have to figure that out, because there's all kinds of regulations with Eagle and everything else. So I think, I don't know, I think he was okay, but that's a concern. So the bottom line is the sewer, which I think, they kind of made a point that the sewer, they didn't know whether the sewer could handle additional capacity, but I'm like, you're talking about a sewer line that was probably put in for what was at the base, and they have over 1,000 beds at the base. So a gas station to handle a couple bathrooms at the gas station shouldn't put any additional strain on that system. So they're going to get some numbers from the base and then move forward with that. But so I think, and again, the way I understood it, did you understand it any differently, that Mr. Jennings should be okay, whether he's direct tap?
Yeah, he seemed content with how everything ended yesterday for the time being.
Talk to him.
He called me a couple days ago.
Okay, so he was at that meeting yesterday.
Okay, cool. Yep, because that was his concern, so.
Okay, I don't think that was it, so we'll move right along here. So next item, special orders, right? So special orders, we're at that time of the year. So one of the things that I just wanted to recognize, and I know as a commissioner on my way out 2 years ago, I think what we need as a board, at least my feeling is that we needed to take some time to recognize commissioners, and I guess it's Bert, so we're gonna pick on you today. Bert's the only one really leaving, and I guess you are too, Dan, but, we'll hold off on any recognition to you. Who knows what's gonna happen with you, so, so with that, I will say that I wanted to also acknowledge that we have treasurer leaving. And so unfortunately, we had some problem, a little fiasco with trying to get some paper. We wanted the gold plated paper, but that was a little bit out of our budget. So we ended up going with the gold seal. Hopefully that'll work for you, Bert. But so I want to.
A Bitcoin seal would be just fine.
Yeah. So I will read this just so you can put it in record or whatever. So this is for Bert Francisco, Alpena County Commissioner, District 6. Let it be known that it is with appreciation for the hard work, dedication, and professionalism that Commissioner Bert Francisco has put forth on behalf of the people of Alpena County that we offer this expression of our thanks and best wishes. As the people of Alpena County recognize the loyalty and devotion to public service of this conscientious individual, we add our sentiments of gratitude for a job well done. In 2 years of service to the people of Alpena County, Bert has been working in the public arena during an era of change, of great change. As Bert well knows, financial pressures and changing expectations have combined to make the recent past a challenge challenging time to work in local government. With the personal sense of duty that Bert brings to each day, however, he has been able to meet this challenge with enthusiasm and a genuine interest in efficiency in public service. This has been deeply appreciated both by citizens and organizations in Alpena County that have benefited directly from Bert's work, as well as other public servants who have witnessed this fine example. There can be little doubt that the record of Bert in his responsibilities as county commissioner over the past 2 years will continue to reap rewards for the people of Alpena County. We offer our thanks to this personal milestone and special tribute. Therefore, this document is signed and dedicated to join with those citizens of Alpena County in saluting Commissioner Bert Francisco in acknowledgement of his outstanding years in public service. So with that, I will give you this and say, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yep, I appreciate what.
That I received, I'm not sure that all would agree with.
We all know
That's what
that.
it is.
So, and
Thank
again, I know we've had times where more than one commissioner have left, and I think it is important to recognize the service, because I think until someone becomes a commissioner, and I know all of you can attest to this, that, you know, you think you're going to come to a couple meetings a month and be done with it, but it seems like it's a constant work. So thank you again, Bert, and appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thanks, brother. Okay. Anything else? So we have unfinished business? No. Okay, so next up is, I guess, Brenda.
New business. I gave you each a copy. What I would like to talk about. Our administrator, Jesse Osmer. I wrote everything down so you'll understand. I'll have yous all read it. Yes. So I guess what I'm going to ask is first, I'm going to make that motion that we pay a one-time stipend in the amount of $4,100 to be paid on December 20th, 24 to the county administrator. That is my motion.
Okay, so Brenda's made a motion. Does anybody support that motion?
I'll support.
Okay.
Support,
Now
so
we
we have
can have
motion and
discussion.
support. Yeah, any discussion on
Discussion.
this? Questions, concerns? So the only thing that I'll add, and I know Jesse's probably saying, oh no, here it comes. No, so I know that Jesse's worked hard over these last 6-7 months. And I can attest that it's been like this, and I've told him this every day. I go to lunch, I come into the county and I say, I'm gonna go run to lunch, and then I come back from lunch, and then either we're up or down, and I'm like, this is worse than the stock market, because every time I leave here, it's, you know, either something came in that was good or something happened that brought the deficit back up. So I know Jesse's spent a lot of time working on the budget, and knowing that this is one of the first times in what, 5 or so years that we've actually had, or will be having, a balanced budget in 2026, as long as nothing changes, so cross your fingers.
Right.
And we should be closing out 2024. Can I say that?
Yeah.
With a balanced budget,
There was a
because of the stuff that we just talked about.
small gap, but we were able to address that.
Right.
So knowing that, and again, I know that we've taken a lot of criticism, which was interesting, we just had an individual criticize us the last meeting for not focusing on the right things. And we should have been focusing on our $2 million deficit. And I was sitting there thinking that she obviously didn't look at the budget before she spoke, because, you know, 2025 is balanced. 2024 with the stuff that we did yesterday, or you found yesterday, it will be balanced.
It will be balanced.
So we can say that we have now 2024 and 2025 balanced. So like I said, Jesse's put a lot of work into this. The other thing that I will say is, I know that coming in from what you originally, the pay range, you've come in below that. So in a sense, this really just kind of puts you back up at the bottom of what the original pay raise or the original pay scale was. So.
Right.
Any other comments, concerns?
For the 85 budget, Jesse, is your wage is still the same?
Yep,
Yes, yeah.
nothing changes. So, and this is a stipend, which will not.
It is not a raise.
Yep.
It's just a
doesn't give them
stipend.
An increase, automatic increase.
No.
Well, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So we can say it's not a raise. And technically, it's not a raise, but it is giving him an additional compensation, which I don't know. I just have a hard time saying, well, it's not a raise, but we're giving him money. So,
And I will say that one of the things too that we worked through, and again, you all probably realize this or know this, that we did give union employees a stipend, at least a couple of the unions
Yes.
stipends, granted they weren't this, but again, I do think that the work that has gone into getting our budgets balanced for 2 years,
Yes.
this year and next year, has been a lot of work, so.
Yeah, Jesse had been the only one that got that budget balanced.
Well,
Because last year we walked in.
I don't want to say that he's the only one.
I don't know. I disagree
Well,
with
far
that.
back, way back, yes.
There's been a lot of work by everybody, and I will say
Right.
that, but Jesse's been the one there every day trying to,
And he
go
was
through,
there.
dig into stuff, so we will
Right.
give him that.
And he is not asking for a raise. And I doubt he's going to ask for a raise for next year.
Well, and again, that's up to the board.
That's
So-
true, but he can ask for a raise, which
We
he
can
has
say no.
not. And we can say no,
Yeah.
but he has not. But he has worked very hard. The questionnaires we had sent out on him came back. I couldn't believe the number that he got. When you need help, Jesse's there. If you want to know something, Jesse's there. He's always in his office. Takes the calls.
Okay, so any other questions? Discussion? Anything?
I do.
You do.
You said to be paid on the 20th? That's this Friday. Our pay schedule is on the 27th. I think it's our next payday. Is there any problem if you approve this,
I would-
pushing that to the next?
No, I would think that's the only thing that I'd have a question on, concern is
That would be harder.
just
for
make
them
it
to-
easier to do it during normal.
I mean, it's doable, but we'd have to do a special payroll for just.
I would just say,
I mean, it's doable if that's what you prefer, but it just.
I was thinking Christmas time,
yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that if,
Are you gonna borrow him some money?
You make a lot of money. You can
Yeah,
borrow.
you
too.
make big bucks.
Yeah, you.
okay, any other questions?
We're gonna do it on 27th then.
Yeah. Are there just, no other discussion? Okay, I guess roll call then.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes, and I'll add a comment, so I should have already done that. I do agree with the amount of effort Jesse's put into this, because I know I've had several late night phone calls that went back and forth. And I also know with the balanced budget for next year, there's very unlikely that there will be a raise, because of all the effort that's been put into the cuts. So, I think it's, a fair, so my vote is yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco,
yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes,
Motion carried.
okay.
Thank you very much.
So we'll move into final public comment. No public comment? Any public comment online? Okay, we'll close public comment. And I guess we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Closed session.
Oh,
Closed session.
closed session.
For union negotiation.
Did I not get an updated agenda then?
It's on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you download on Friday.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move into closed session for union negotiation.
Ludlow.
Here.
Commissioner Bray. Here. Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
Commissioner Fournier.
Here.
Commissioner Francisco.
Here.
Commissioner Konashevsky.
Here.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Here. Glad you guys didn't sneak away while we're in closed session, so, okay, so last item that we have to deal with.
And so you're looking for a motion to enter, or I'm sorry, you're looking to entertain a motion to fill the vacant fifth clerk position in the 88th District Court.
I'll make that motion.
So a motion by Commissioner Fournier,
I'll support it.
support by Commissioner Francisco. I don't think we need any discussion on that. Let's do roll call.
Commissioner LaHaye.
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow.
Yes.
Commissioner Bray.
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
Commissioner Fournier.
Yes.
Commissioner Francisco.
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky.
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, and that was the last item, so I would ask that Commissioner Francisco make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to make a motion to adjourn my final meeting as a county commissioner for District 6.
Okay, we have a motion and
Support.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed.
Wait a minute. I heard-
Opposed. Opposed.